du meine Arbeit für richtig hältst, ob du glaubst, dass ich fleißig gewesen bin, dass ich gearbeitet habe, dass ich mich in diesen Jahren für dich eingesetzt habe, dass ich anständig meine Zeit verwendet habe im Dienste meines Volkes. Gib du jetzt deine Stimme ab. Wenn ja, dann tritt für mich ein, so wie ich für dich eingetreten bin.
Adolf Hitler, a name that conjures images of unparalleled devastation and the darkest chapters of human history, remains one of the most studied and infamous figures of the 20th century. His role as the Führer of Nazi Germany led to the outbreak of World War II and the Holocaust, events that left an indelible mark on global history. However, to truly understand the man behind the terror, we must delve into his early life and the path that led him to power. This video explores Adolf Hitler's background, his formative years, and the major events that shaped his ideology and rise to prominence. Adolf Hitler was born on April 20, 1889, in Braunau am Inn, a small town in Austria-Hungary, near the German border. He was the fourth of 6 children born to Alois Hitler and Clara Pölzl. His father, Alois, was a customs official, known for his strict and authoritarian nature. Alois was born out of wedlock and initially bore his mother's surname, Schicklgruber, before adopting his stepfather's name, Hitler, which had been used by the family for many years. Clara Pölzl, Adolf's mother, was Alois's third wife and his junior by 23 years. She was a gentle and loving woman, in stark contrast to Alois's harsh demeanor. Adolf had a closer bond with his mother, who indulged him despite his frequent bouts of defiance and poor performance in school. The deaths of his siblings, particularly his younger brother Edmund in 1900, profoundly affected young Adolf, leading to increased withdrawal and a deep sense of loss. Hitler's academic journey was marked by a mixture of early promise and subsequent failure. Initially, he excelled in primary school, where his teachers noted his intelligence and ambition. However, his performance declined dramatically in secondary school. Alois Hitler had envisioned a career in the civil service for his son, but Adolf had other plans. He harbored dreams of becoming an artist, a path his father vehemently opposed. After Alois's death in 1903, Hitler's academic performance deteriorated further. He dropped out of high school in 1905 without obtaining a diploma. In 1907, with the support of his mother, he moved to Vienna to pursue his artistic ambitions and applied to the Academy of Fine Arts. However, his application was rejected, with the institution citing his lack of formal qualifications and insufficient talent. A second attempt in 1908 also ended in rejection, a blow from which Hitler never fully recovered. His artistic dreams shattered. Hitler faced a period of aimlessness and despair. From 1908 to 1913, Hitler lived in Vienna, a city teeming with cultural diversity and political upheaval. He led a precarious existence, residing in men's hostels and making a meager living through menial jobs and the sale of his paintings and postcards. During these years, Hitler's worldview began to take shape, influenced by the city's simmering anti-Semitism and nationalism. Vienna at the time was a melting pot of various ethnicities and religions, including a significant Jewish population. It was also a city rife with political ideologies, from socialism to nationalism. Hitler gravitated towards the latter, influenced by the works of racist and nationalist authors. He absorbed the anti-Semitic rhetoric that blamed Jews for many of society's ills and the pan-German ideology that advocated for the unification of all German-speaking peoples. Two figures in particular left a lasting impact on Hitler: George von Schauner, a radical nationalist, and Karl Lueger, the anti-Semitic mayor of Vienna. Schauner's ideas of Aryan superiority and Lueger's use of populist anti-Semitism provided a blueprint for Hitler's own ideology. These formative years in Vienna were crucial in the development of Hitler's political and racial beliefs, which would later drive his actions as the leader of Nazi Germany. The outbreak of World War I in 1914 provided Hitler with a sense of purpose and direction that had eluded him in civilian life. He enlisted in the Bavarian army and served on the Western Front, where he found a camaraderie and discipline that he had never experienced before. As a dispatch runner, he was responsible for delivering messages between the front lines and the command posts, a dangerous job that earned him the Iron Cross, First Class, an honor he cherished deeply. Despite the horrors of trench warfare, Hitler thrived in the military environment. The war reinforced his belief in the value of struggle and sacrifice, concepts that would later underpin Nazi ideology. The end of the war in 1918, marked by Germany's defeat and the signing of the Treaty of Versailles, left Hitler feeling betrayed and embittered. He viewed the treaty, which imposed harsh penalties and territorial losses on Germany, as a humiliation. This period of disillusionment and anger was pivotal, fueling his desire for revenge and setting the stage for his entry into politics. After the war, Germany was in a state of turmoil. The Weimar Republic, established in 1919, faced economic hardship, political instability, and widespread social unrest. In this volatile environment, Hitler found a new purpose. He joined the German Workers' Party, DAP, a small nationalist group. In September 1919, his oratory skills and radical ideas quickly brought him to prominence within the party, and he soon became its main spokesman. In 1920, the DAP was renamed the National Socialist German Workers' Party, NSDAP, or Nazi Party. Hitler's powerful speeches and propaganda attracted a growing number of followers. He articulated a vision of a strong, unified Germany, free from the perceived threats of communism, democracy, and Jewish influence. His rhetoric resonated with many Germans who were disillusioned by the failures of the Weimar Republic and the economic hardships brought about by the Treaty of Versailles. By 1921, Hitler had become the leader of the Nazi Party. He surrounded himself with loyal supporters, including Heinrich Himmler, Hermann Göring, and Joseph Goebbels, who would play crucial roles in his future government. Hitler's ability to connect with the frustrations and aspirations of ordinary Germans was instrumental in the Nazi Party's growth. In November 1923, emboldened by the growing strength of the Nazi Party, Hitler and his followers attempted to seize power in Munich in what became known as the Beer Hall Putsch. Inspired by Benito Mussolini's successful march on Rome, Hitler hoped to overthrow the Weimar government and establish a nationalist dictatorship. The coup failed, and Hitler was arrested and charged with treason. During his trial, Hitler used the courtroom as a platform to spread his ideas. Gaining national attention, he was sentenced to 5 years in prison but served only 9 months in the relatively comfortable Landsberg prison. During his imprisonment, Hitler dictated his autobiography and political manifesto, Mein Kampf, My Struggle, to his loyal follower Rudolf Hess. Mein Kampf outlined Hitler's ideology and future plans for Germany. He expressed his belief in the racial superiority of the Aryan race, his hatred for Jews and communists, and his desire for territorial expansion to provide Lebensraum, living space, for the German people. Although Mein Kampf did not initially sell well, it became the ideological foundation for the Nazi movement. After his release from prison in December 1924, Hitler set about rebuilding the Nazi Party, which had been banned in the aftermath of the Beer Hall Putsch. The ban was lifted in 1925, and Hitler began to reorganize and expand the party. He established the Schutzstaffel, SS, as his personal bodyguard and the Sturmabteilung, SA, as the party's paramilitary wing, using them to intimidate political opponents and rally support. Hitler also focused on legal methods to gain power, participating in elections and working within the political system. He capitalized on the economic instability caused by the Great Depression, which began in 1929, to increase his appeal. As unemployment and poverty soared, Hitler's promises to restore Germany's prosperity and national pride resonated with a growing number of voters. By 1930, the Nazi Party had become a major political force, winning 107 seats in the Reichstag, Germany's parliament. In the 1932 presidential election, Hitler ran against the incumbent, Paul von Hindenburg, and although he lost, he gained significant support. The Nazi Party became the largest party in the Reichstag, with 230 seats, in the July 1932 elections. In January 1933, under pressure from conservative politicians who believed they could control him. President Hindenburg appointed Hitler as Chancellor of Germany. Once in power, Hitler moved quickly to consolidate his authority. The Reichstag fire in February 1933, which the Nazis blamed on communists, provided a pretext for the Reichstag fire decree, suspending civil liberties and allowing for the arrest of political opponents. In March 1933, the Enabling Act was passed, giving Hitler dictatorial powers by allowing him to enact laws without the Reichstag's approval. This effectively marked the end of the Weimar Republic and the beginning of Nazi rule. Within a year, all political parties except the Nazi Party were banned, and a totalitarian regime was established. Hitler's rise to power was marked by a combination of legal maneuvering, political alliances, and ruthless suppression of opposition. He utilized propaganda, orchestrated by Joseph Goebbels, to promote his image and ideology, while the SS and Gestapo enforced his policies through terror and violence. By the mid-1930s, Hitler had complete control over Germany, paving the way for his aggressive foreign policies and the implementation of his racial agenda. Once in power, Hitler implemented a series of economic and social policies aimed at revitalizing Germany and fulfilling his vision of a racially pure state. His economic policies focused on massive public works projects, rearmament, and autarky, economic self-sufficiency. The construction of the Autobahn, a network of highways, provided jobs and boosted the economy, while rearmament efforts prepared Germany for future military expansion. Social policies under Nazi rule were driven by the goal of creating an Aryan racial state. The Nuremberg Laws, enacted in 1935, institutionalized racial discrimination against Jews, stripping them of their citizenship and prohibiting marriage or sexual relations between Jews and non-Jews. Other groups, including Romani people, disabled individuals, and political dissidents, were also targeted for persecution. The regime also promoted traditional gender roles, encouraging women to focus on motherhood and domestic duties, while men were expected to be soldiers and workers. Hitler's vision of a racially pure and militarily powerful Germany required the subjugation of individual freedoms and the elimination of those deemed undesirable. Hitler's foreign policy aimed at reversing the Treaty of Versailles, expanding Germany's territory, and establishing a dominant position in Europe. He pursued a policy of rearmament, in violation of the treaty, and sought to unite all German-speaking peoples under his rule. In 1936, Germany remilitarized the Rhineland, a demilitarized zone, without facing significant opposition from France or Britain. The Anschluss, or annexation of Austria, followed in 1938, as German troops marched into Austria without resistance. Later that year, the Munich Agreement allowed Germany to annex the Sudetenland, a region of Czechoslovakia with a significant ethnic German population. Under the guise of self-determination, these actions emboldened Hitler and demonstrated the weakness of appeasement policies pursued by Britain and France. In March 1939, Germany occupied the rest of Czechoslovakia, breaking the Munich Agreement. Hitler then set his sights on Poland, leading to the signing of the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact with the Soviet Union in August 1939. This non-aggression pact ensured that Germany could invade Poland without fear of Soviet intervention. On September 1, 1939, Germany invaded Poland, prompting Britain and France to declare war on Germany, marking the beginning of World War II. World War II saw Hitler's ambitions for territorial expansion and racial purity reach their zenith. Germany's early successes in the war, including the rapid conquest of Poland, France, and much of Western Europe, cemented Hitler's reputation as a military strategist. However, his decision to invade the Soviet Union in June 1941 marked a turning point, as the German army became bogged down in a brutal and protracted conflict. The war also provided the cover for the implementation of the final solution: the systematic genocide of 6 million Jews and millions of other victims, including Romani people, disabled individuals, political dissidents, and prisoners of war. The Holocaust, carried out through mass shootings, gas chambers, and forced labor camps, remains one of the most heinous crimes in human history. Hitler's relentless pursuit of his ideological goals led to catastrophic consequences for Germany and the world. By 1945, Germany was facing defeat on all fronts, and the Allied forces closed in on Berlin on April 30, 1945, with Soviet troops entering the city. Hitler committed suicide in his bunker. His death marked the end of the Nazi regime and the conclusion of a war that had claimed the lives of over 70 million people. Adolf Hitler's rise from a failed artist to the dictator of Nazi Germany is a tale of ambition, manipulation, and ruthless pursuit of power. His early life, marked by personal failures and intense nationalism, laid the groundwork for the ideologies that would later drive his actions. The economic and political turmoil of post-World War I Germany provided fertile ground for his message of hate and revenge. Understanding Hitler's early life and the factors that shaped him is crucial in recognizing the signs of extremism and the importance of vigilance in safeguarding democracy and human rights. His legacy serves as a stark reminder of how ideologies of hate and intolerance can lead to unimaginable horrors. Through this exploration of his early life and rise to power, we gain insight into the complex and dangerous path that led to one of the darkest periods in human history. Thank you for joining us on this journey through history. If you found this essay insightful, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the past. And remember, history is not just about the past. It's about learning for the future. Stay informed, stay curious, and stay vigilant.